Hey guys, we're back. It's Tom Owens from MMA Fight Pass, and we're going inside the dojo with Dan Camarillo tonight here in Bakersfield, California. Follow me. Like I've been telling you guys, jiu-jitsu in the valley is growing crazy. I mean, every town's got a jiu-jitsu school now, but this guy's one of the legends. He's been around forever. Okay there. Okay, so this is Dan Camarillo's academy. Dan's a friend of mine. He's an old coach of mine, and he's literally been around the game probably longer than most people that I know. And they've welcomed us into their gym tonight. We're going to go inside here. We're going to learn a few things. We're going to take some footage. And once again, I'll probably get choked out a few times, and we'll see what happens from there. All right, guys, here we go. Follow me. Come on in, guys. How you guys doing? All right, so we're here inside Dan Camarillo's dojo. Right now we got a little gi-less class going on here. We just had some toddlers and we had the kids class a little while ago. Some of the legends that have trained here, guys. Oleg Taktarov, Dave and Dan Camarillo. This gym is awesome. There's been a lot of histories came through this gym here. Some of the AKA boys up here, Cain Velasquez. Check this out, Josh Thompson. Amazing people have came through here. Let's see what they got going on in here. So here we are inside the Dan Camarillo Jit Jitsu, Bakersfield, California, guys. Okay, Tom Owens here. I'm here at Dan Camarillo's Academy. Dan, thank you for having us in.
No problem.
It's a real honor to be here, Dan. I love your school. It's nice, man. Very nice. So, how long have you been here?
In this location, 5 years. In Bakersfield, I moved back here 15, 16 years ago.
15, 16 years ago?
Yeah.
Now, I know you've been training jiu-jitsu for a long time, and before that, though, you did judo, right? You and your brother both?
That is correct, yes.
How old were you two when you started in judo?
I started around 4 years old. I was almost 5, I believe. And then my brother Dave started when he was either 5 or almost 6.
Are you the oldest?
Yes.
By how long?
4 years.
4 years, all right.
I'm also the better looking one.
You are handsome. You're pretty handsome.
See, I told you.
Since you're here right now, you're the more handsome one.
since I'm in choking range.
Yeah, serious. No, I'm not joking anybody. When you guys started, who got you into it? Your dad?
My father. He was already leaving the house late at night, and I remember as a kid, I'd watch him just leave and go somewhere, and I finally one day asked him, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to judo." Asked me if I'd like to go. I'm all, "Is that like karate?" Because I used to watch a lot of Bruce Lee back then, you know. And the first time he said, "No, it's not like karate at all," so I declined to go. I believe it was only a couple nights later, and I said I'd like to go, and he never let me quit. So that was the end of that.
And you were how old at that time?
Yeah, I was like 4 years old, yeah.
4 years old, so you were hitting the mats already. That's crazy. Where were you guys training, in Bakersfield? Or?
We grew up in Bakersfield. I only moved away when I was about in my 20s to train at different places. But we started at a place called Bakersfield Judo Club. We were there only a few years, and then my father and a friend of his started Doryoku Judo here in Bakersfield. Something happened there where my dad decided he wanted his own academy, his own dojo, and he opened South Valley Judo, and that went on for years. He did very well with that. We had a pretty good team. Used to compete almost every single weekend for like 10 straight years.
Did you guys travel around California?
We traveled. I mean, there was one time we drove all the way to Texas for a tournament. And that was a 24-hour drive nonstop, man. I'll never do that again. That was tough.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, when I met Matt Smith, is who I met you guys through.
Yes.
And I had came back from college, and I was doing some judo up north in Eureka. It was just a small little club. You guys probably maybe came across them. It was the Eureka Judo Jiu-Jitsu Kodokan. And anyhow, when I moved here, there wasn't much jiu-jitsu, and I had heard on the radio about PMA, and I went over there, and Matt was always talking about these Camarillo brothers. And correct me, he told me that you guys did you guys compete in the Junior Olympics?
Oh yeah, several times.
So you talk about that a little bit, because I mean, how old were you when you did that? To make
I think that's like
Olympics.
a junior high, just junior high years, I believe. I think that's before high school.
So, and how does that work to get to the Junior Olympics?
Man, you know, that was
Several tournaments.
I don't remember. I kind of believe at that time anybody can enter. But my brother and I, we won that several times. That's not for the, they call it Junior Olympics, but I don't know what kind of caliber that is for that age group. I'm not 100% sure, like if it's super high caliber or not. What I do know is that still stayed in the United States. It wasn't like it was international or anything. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, when you started training with jiu-jitsu, was Half Gracie? I know he was one of your instructors, but was that the first thing you saw? How did you make the transfer from judo to jiu-jitsu, or what did you see that made you?
Well, at the time we were part of the Fresno State judo team. My brother and I, we moved to Fresno to train with the team. My brother was injured. He hurt his leg, and judo kind of rough ups your knees a little bit more than jiu-jitsu. So the standing was a little bit difficult for him, and we were determined to finally find a Gracie Academy. We thought we found one in town in Fresno, but it turned out he was a false black belt.
I remember that one.
Yeah, you remember him. He found Half. Actually, you know how we found Half? That guy lied about getting his black belt from Half Gracie.
Okay.
Told us where Half Gracie was.
Yeah.
My brother went down there to ask Half Gracie, and that's how it actually got started. And then we started going. It was Caesar and Half Gracie in Pleasanton.
So they were together at the time?
They were
Well, that's
together
old
at the
school.
time. That's
real old school.
Yes. We were there for about a year, and then Half went on his own. Now we stayed with Half.
When you guys signed up with Half, like, what was that like? 'Cause you were coming in there with this judo skill already. I mean, Half. I just remember when Half was in your guys' corners, like in competitions, it seemed like he thought really highly of you and your brother. It felt like it to me that he felt really highly of you guys.
I hope so.
It always seemed like it to me.
Always treated. You know what? To be honest, he even treated me a little different than Dave. You know what I mean? He didn't pick. There's a couple of people he didn't really pick on. You know what I mean? BJ Penn. He didn't pick on BJ Penn. He didn't pick on me. He did pick on my brother. You know, if you want to go old school, you know, Cameron Earl. He picked on everybody else pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to think that he respected me. I don't know. I do know that we were very dedicated to being part of his team. As being a coach, he was probably one of my favorite coaches I've ever had, man. He changed the way I looked at things as far as being a fighting aggressive mentality in the tournaments. You know what I'm saying? When he was there on my side, and he would sit there and he'd do this and give me that look, and I knew I had to finish the match or I'm going to get in trouble when I get back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and something that I got from Half, but really more from your brother, is we don't win on points. You know what I mean? I always remember your brother telling me simple little things like that. You know, we don't win on points, and when he wanted you to go out there and get the tap, was that Half's main thing?
Oh, completely. We didn't even hardly go over what the points were. He didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't win by points, you didn't win. That's exactly what he said. If you didn't win by submission, is what he said. If you win by points, you didn't really win. So you have to get that submission. And it was like, I remember one time, BJ Penn was fighting Mike Cardoza. Does that sound familiar?
In MMA?
Is it Mike Cardoza? It was a submission match back in the Grappler's Quest in Las Vegas.
One of the first Grappler's
And
Quest.
it was a super fight, and BJ barely, well, he controlled the whole match. He beat him by points, you know. And we're off to the side, and BJ's being interviewed. I'm standing over by BJ, and BJ goes, "Come on, Dan, you know it's true, huh? You know it's true. If you don't win by points, it's not a win. You know, I mean, if you don't win by submission, it's not a win. If you only win by points," you know, he was very upset. And that's what Half did, you know.
That's the mentality. So you pass that mentality on to your students?
I used to be more towards that, you know what I mean? In a self-defense situation, to me, that's super important, right? You want to go home to your family. If I'm defending myself, and that's the way I gear towards jiu-jitsu. This is supposed to be more towards self-defense than sport. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still kind of geared that way.
I was watching you with your kids.
You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I do.
I don't want to go in there and, oh no, I just pin him forever, and then he pulls out a knife and stabs you. No, man, you finish the fight, you go home. So that's the mentality I had when I went into the tournaments. You know, you go in there, you finish your opponent, get off the mat as fast as you can. Plus, you know what? To save my energy.
Yeah, save your energy for the next match.
If I finish them in a minute, I could rest longer than most of the other guys could.
When parents bring their like a new child in here, and does it seem like, do they know what they're getting into with jiu-jitsu with nowadays, or you know, with UFC out and everything, do people know when they're coming to a school now the difference between taekwondo and karate? And
most of them know it's a type of kind of like wrestling with submission holds. Yeah, most of them do. There's some that don't. I've had some even walk in and thought it was more like karate. And then once they see it, but here's the thing: we try to make it fun for kids.
Yeah, they're having a blast.
Yeah, man, we're trying to make it enjoyable for the parents to watch.
Yeah,
and fun for the kids while they learn proper technique. You know, and I think that's the most important. So once they get in here and they step on the mat and they have fun, most of them that walk in here usually stay and sign. You know what I'm saying? They want to stay here. They want to be a part of the team. So
now, like talking about self-defense, like when I was watching you in your kids class, I mean, you're doing basic, solid jiu-jitsu, and to me that is self-defense. Like you see, you know what I'm talking about in karate schools and these different wrist locks. You'll see people showing and crazy different self-defense techniques. But I mean, for a kid that gets, you know, some bully comes up on him and takes him down to the ground or just tackles him, you know. Do you do other like self-defense stuff, or you mainly just stick with the basic jiu-jitsu?
Sometimes what I'll do,
or what would you consider self-defense for jiu-jitsu?
Well, so sometimes in the kids class. Now for the adults, we have separate like self-defense classes completely. Okay.
Like off bear hugs.
Oh, totally. Like I just ran one last Friday night.
Okay.
We had a special self-defense class here only. Okay. So, but in kids class, what I do is I teach them the jiu-jitsu, and then I teach them now, if you get knocked down in a self-defense situation, I start talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So it keeps it in their head. But we've had parents tell us, oh, our kid got jumped the other day, and thank you for your classes because he was able to control the kid and get out of the situation. I mean, we've had a couple of, you know, more than a couple of times that's happened with kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
We've had kids come in here, they're not getting bullied anymore. Within 6 months, they're not getting bullied anymore. The parents are so happy, you know?
And the self-confidence level and everything.
It just changes, yeah. If you're walking around without confidence, the bullies see that. They read that. And then they're going to attack you. If you start walking around with confidence, it's a complete different picture. They stop picking on you.
It's a whole different deal, the way you feel about yourself and everything. So have you had students that have been with you from child up to adult? I know it's a small percent that sticks with.
You saw Kaylee out there? She was with us when she was pretty young. You know, there have been a couple kids when they get into high school, then they want to get into wrestling and pursue that for their college. But, you know, I would say the longest one here would be Kaylee Burton. She's been here for a long time.
Would you say that jiu-jitsu?
We've had adults longer.
Yeah. When for a kid that starts jiu-jitsu, and how would you say it transfers like for them later on if they're gonna go into wrestling or any other sport or whatever?
We have that's another one. Chapman's still here. Chapman's in high school. He's done judo. He's done the jiu-jitsu since he was a kid here, and wrestling, and he went undefeated for a long time and still does very well in wrestling. And you know, his father always says, dude, it's because of the jiu-jitsu, because not everybody else out there has the jiu-jitsu techniques.
No.
And they help because they don't understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like out of nowhere, here comes this kind of like a modified sweep throw kind of deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now this other instructor you have, what is his name? That's teaching here
That's
right now?
Vinny.
Vinny.
Vinny Moraes.
Vinny Moraes. Where's he from?
From Brazil.
Oh, he's from Brazil.
He's from Brazil. He's a black belt under De La Riva.
Okay.
He came and visited the school a couple of years ago, I think now. By now, I think it's 2 years, and made up his mind this is where he wants to be.
Like the fit and everything works out good, huh?
This is where he wanted to be. So he made it his mission to be here. I helped him out, you know, gave him the job right now that he's doing, the no-gi. He's done a good job.
He likes the no-gi more than gi, is that his deal?
Well, he just needed a spot to make a little bit of cash to help him permanently move here, if that makes sense. And you know, the gi thing's mine. I've been doing gi since I was a kid, so I thought I'd keep that class for me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
And then let him have the no gi, and he loves it. So
that's awesome. So the fit was good. Were you already kind of into the De La Riva type guard, or
man,
I see a lot of people doing it nowadays?
I'm going to tell everybody out there right now. So we did De La Riva long time.
What was it called back then?
It was called
yeah, because I remember a move at Pacific Martial Arts.
It was called single leg guard. That's what it was called.
Because remember even Matt would always show that back take from that position. But yeah, I never heard it called De La Riva.
It was called single leg guard. You know, then you got the mission control is called high mount or high guard. I mean, then there's high mount. I mean, there's all kinds of things that now they're giving names to, which is perfectly understandable.
Definitely.
We need names for things. There's still things. There's the other day I was showing a technique and I was like, wait a minute. I don't know the proper name of this technique. And so I text my brother, I text Megaton, I text Rodrigo Antunes, I text Crosley Gracie.
Yeah.
And they all had different names for the dang move. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Man, that's something else. So do you still see like Crosley and Half and those guys?
Crosley and I are good friends, man. As much as I can. He lives kind of far away, you know, but anytime that we get together, we get together. Half, we were just talking the other day. He texted me the other day.
Is he still running all those schools or what?
Yeah, he's still running schools, yeah. I don't know what's going on in his life. I'm not, like...
Yeah.
We talk just a little, you know what I mean? So...
Yeah, it was crazy last time I trained that he was going between like 5 different schools. It was really a hit and miss to...
He's done a very good job putting his schools together. And so far successful.
And how about your brother? How's your brother doing?
He's so busy.
He's training jiu-jitsu mainly, or what?
Well, he has 2 schools, and one in San Jose that you know is ran by Matt Darcy, and then he's got one in Pleasanton. But most of the time, what I notice, he's traveling all the time, mostly to Virginia, and he's got schools all over the place. Yeah, a lot of seminars, a lot of teaching.
That's awesome. Does he compete ever?
His last tournament is on YouTube. It was in Japan. And most people probably know the match after David arm locked him, the guy kicked him in the face. Did you ever see that one?
I'll have to look at that one.
And then Dave just started apologizing.
Yeah.
You know, the old Dave would have kicked him back. You know, we know that. But he's grown up, and he was apologizing. He said in 3 different languages, trying to tell everyone he's sorry. He didn't mean to hurt the guy. And the guy got up wanting to fight.
Was that a jiu-jitsu tournament or
that was jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. Now, you guys have both, from an early age, competed internationally. So, have you competed in Japan and Brazil and everything in judo before?
I almost said I competed in Japan, and then I competed in Canada. I've competed in Mexico. That's about it. Dave's the one that. So when I was coming up in my life, I wanted to work. I wanted to make money. Dave, you know, he stayed. My parents helped him out a little bit longer than me. You know what I mean? He was more gung-ho focused to succeed in this sport, and that's what happened. So Dave went to Korea, Sweden. He competed all over the place. So he's been to Japan more than me. So there you go.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Well, I know you're gonna have a class going right now, Dave. Dan. A little confused. Starstruck, bro.
Okay, Tim. I mean Tom.
Tim. No. Hey, thank you so much for letting us come in your gym. We're going to get some more footage, and hopefully we can talk to some of your students, and then maybe you can choke me out a little bit or toss me around, or toss this guy around a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be fun for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan.
Arm
I
bars,
really
though.
appreciate it.
Arm
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you.